Hello and welcome to episode 4 of your first book podcast. So, to be honest, I wasn't even going to record an episode this week, but then I was digging through my old notes. I'll just flash them really quickly. Whoops, they're upside. Nope, they're not upside down. Um, and I saw I had made quite the plan for my self-publishing budget for book 1, book 2, and book 3 of the new Grad Magic series. And today I'll be sharing my budget for book 1, as that is the book that is currently going through the publication process. And also the first book of the new Grad Magic series, which is called Connecting Flights, if you haven't heard already, will be out in the first half of 2024. So I hope you are as excited as I am to be able to just experience the world and the characters of this book. My cat's excited. You can hear him in the background. Now, honestly, if you're someone that's also looking to self-publish their first book, I'm really hoping that this video, if you're watching on YouTube, or this episode, if you're listening, will give you an idea on how much it might cost to self-publish a book. And this is my wish list. And so I just want to highlight that it could cost way more than this. It could cost way less than this, but I was curious when I first started listening to how much people were spending on their debut novels. And again, this was my budget. Have I stayed within that budget? I'm not sure, but that will be talk for a future episode once the book is actually out. So first on this list is the cover. I got really lucky with this. I said $75 because I just happened to find a pre-made cover. I was scrolling through a website and it just spoke to me. I wanted it. I think it just captured the tone of the book. And I will be revealing the cover at a later date, but $75 for a book cover is that you like is a steal of a deal. If you are looking to get a custom book cover made on the lower end, $300, on the higher end, like $700 to $1,000, you might be able to even find some good pre-mades for $150. So $75 for my cover. That is a good start. Okay. The next thing that I wanted to spend money on was an alpha read. So this is kind of like a developmental editor, except I think of your alpha reader as the person that reads like your very first draft, like that draft that you just open and get everything on the page. Like that's the person that reads your draft where you're like, I don't know what I did. I'm stuck. I want someone to read this. Versus if you're hiring a developmental editor, you might have gone through some own rounds of editing, of self-editing before sending it to them. So alpha reader, about $100. Okay. Next thing, I wanted to at least get one beta reader. But one beta reader is about, whoa, okay, so I'm recording this on Zoom and I made a thumbs up and the image on my screen just made a thumbs up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the video. That's interesting. Okay, so, or if that's like a new Mac feature, I don't know. Anyways, beta reader. I wanted a paid beta reader. I do have a video on YouTube talking about beta readers and what to look for, so you can watch that if you're interested. But I just wanted a paid beta reader because they were more likely to take the work seriously, offer constructive feedback, and honor their deadlines, honestly, versus if I just asked a friend to beta read my book for a favor. So one for around $75. I learned later on that one beta reader is not enough because you want to see if there are any like consistent themes or feedback or issues coming up. Okay. And then the next thing I wrote was developmental editor. I did not put a price here. I thought that would be like an optional splurge. I thought that if I got an alpha reader and beta readers, I would be covered because they're very expensive. But I think it's going to be worth it. And I think I am going to invest in a developmental editor. I don't have a price here. Then I put copy editor. So if you're unfamiliar with the writing, editing, self-publishing world, developmental editor, that's someone that's going to help you with your plot, your pacing, and the story itself. A copy editor is going to be the person that is like scanning your whole manuscript, being like, your dialogue tags have to go here, a comma has to go here, like the punctuation has to look neat, grammar, spelling, all those things, like things that you want a professional book to look like. Obviously, you want a good plot too, but I thought like, okay, maybe I can figure out the plot stuff on my own, but I definitely want a copy editor on my manuscript just because just one pair of eyes, my pair of eyes that have been staring at this thing for forever, I'm going to miss some things. So I put my budget for a copy editor was $675. That is from my research. That's kind of like in the budget range for a word count, a manuscript of like 80,000 words. That's what I put. Again, this book I am considering as an investment. So if you're hearing these numbers and you're like, what the heck? I never thought it would be this expensive to publish a book. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to get all these things. You can if you want. This is what I am choosing to spend my money on because it is the first book, my first book that I'm putting out in the world. And I just really want to do this. So the next thing is a proofreader. This is even after the copy editor. This is like literally like my book is ready for release. I'm ready to hit publish. I just want one more person to scan it. Maybe make a few sentences sound a little pretty, catch the typos, things like that. I did say this was optional, and my budget for that is $450. ISBNs were, if you live in the States, you have to pay like $300 for 10, but if you're Canadian and you live in Canada, which I finally am living in Canada again, they're free. So $0 on those book numbers. Another thing I had originally planned was to open an LLC, kind of like on the business side of things, to have that professional lens. That was going to be about $33. Like I said, $100, but then I was trying to divide it between 3 books. I don't think I'll need to do that anymore. And I think Canada, the rules are a little different. The next thing, Vellum. That is a $250 software. It's a lifetime license. It's only good for Mac. You can use it to format your book. So it's $250, but I have plans to write at least 3 books for the series. So that would be $83 like for this book, if I'm mathing correctly. Yeah, so that's Vellum. And then Pro Writing Aid, that's another editing software. I believe that's also a lifetime license or $20 a month, but I mathed it in a way that this software would be $40. And then Publisher Rocket is another software that is used for keyword research on Amazon, I believe. And that would be, it's a $97 one-time fee, but again, splitting between 2 books, $32. And again, these like softwares I'm talking about, you don't need them. A lot of people say if you're self-publishing your first book, like the most important things to spend money on are the cover, because that's what draws people in to buy the book, and then an editor, because people are going to read the book. You want it to be, a polished, finished manuscript. Okay, so then I have my marketing wish list, and I really like this one because I put a lot of zeros on this list. And will I follow it? We'll see. We'll see what my marketing actually ends up being. But for right now, it's saying, hey, book 1 of New Grad Magic is coming out in 2024. I can't wait for you to read it. So marketing, potentially TikTok. That's $0. I don't want to do paid ads this time around. Instagram Reels, $0. YouTube, vlogs, podcast, cover reveals coming soon. Again, $0 for me to use. MailerLite, it's an email list software. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it this time, but they have a free plan, $0. A domain, so I just think of that as my author website. That does cost $12 a year. So I imagine I will be, putting my books on my website. So $12 a year split between $3, $4. Google Sites, that's what I built my website in. It's also free. Highly recommend Google Sites if you're just looking to throw an author website up. And I wrote maybe a book tour. I think this would be the only paid marketing I would do. So this is essentially just a company that they know that your book is launching. They already have connections with maybe some small book influencers, and they'll publish to their pages, and they have readers who are interested in new releases. So Espresso Book Tours was a company I have heard of, and they have something called Book Blitz for $90. I don't know, maybe. Advanced Reader Copy Outreach did that already. I have a small but mighty team of advanced readers, and that's $0. So looking at, oh, and then I had something here, Book Funnel. That is how I'm going to deliver my ebooks for the advanced reader copies. So there's a lot of stuff on this list. If you are just kind of discovering the world of self-publishing like I once was, and half these things you don't even know what I'm talking about, that's okay. I've been there. I was definitely that person. If you have watched a ton of videos about budget and you're just curious and you just want to know who's spending what, then welcome. Thank you for listening. Yeah, everyone's budget is different. But if we add this up, book one, I was aiming to spend about $1,207. In my mind, I was really hoping I could keep it below $1,000, but I think just with the quality of editing that I want and sourcing my own author team, as I like to call it, as I get to like pick who my editors are, I don't think being under 1,000 is realistic, but I'm okay with this. Like, I want this thing to be something that I'm proud of, that I'm excited about. I want it to be a final product that I like, and I can't do that just by myself. I need experts. I need other experts on my team. So there we have it. That is the budget for book one. Book two and book three, I have written down here, but I haven't even started writing these books yet. But I will say, just glancing at it, like, it looks like I wanted to like up how much I was spending on a cover designer. Editors, I kind of wrote the same price, but we'll see. We will see. I had a very aggressive goal at one point to write 3 books in 2023, but I just realized that that was just my time to educate myself on the world of self-publishing. So, I'm aiming to spend roughly 1,000 per book, but I've already made my fair share of mistakes with book one, as in, I'm pretty sure I'm over that. I'm pretty sure I'm over that because this experience hasn't been linear, even though I expected it to be. And I will be making an updated video or episode on how much I spent on my debut novel when it is officially out. And again, the beautiful thing about self-publishing is that you can spend far less or far more. This is not a set in stone budget. This is not what you are required to spend to self-publish your book. My full-time job allows me to have the privilege to spend this amount on my books, how I choose to use my paycheck. And I'm just hoping that this becomes an investment over time as I gain a readership over the next several years, as New Grad Magic starts to gain popularity. And I'm just really excited about this journey. I hope you are listening to this because you also have dreams of publishing your first book. And I just can't wait to hear how things are going for your first book. And again, the first book of New Grad Magic, Connecting Flights, comes out in early 2024. I will be talking about it a lot more, so you will know how to order it, where to order it, and all those things. But thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.